Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother Guy, back again with another preview of One Friday Fights 116. It is live this Friday, 18th of July at 2:30 South African time on the One Championship YouTube page, as well as Fighting with Friends, where we will be doing a live watch along. We won't be able to display the footage, but you will tune into me, some of the guys at Fighting with Friends talking about the fights as they're happening live. Let's stay tuned for that one. Before I get into the nice preview of this fight card, which is a lekker, nice stacked fight card, just don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit all the notification bells, to all the fancy stuff. It always helps the channel. Every little small click does help the channel grow. So yeah, let's get straight into it. As always, we will start at the top of the card. Let me bring this up on screen. Really fascinating fight card. I'm not gonna lie. When I was doing my notes and episode prep for this fight card, I was like, I think the lineup's a little bit strange. I felt like what's going on in terms of the placement of some of the fights. I mean, we have Adam versus Nahyan Mohammed, which is a rematch, fun. But I mean, a 16 and 17-year-old kid that could have been somewhere else on the fight card. You got Petchtanong taking on Yuki Yoza. For me, that should have been the main event of this fight card, to be honest with you. But okay, doesn't matter. We are here now. And even though that Yuki Yoza and Petchtanong is not the main event, the fight card's still pretty stacked from top to bottom. So let's go. Top of the card as always, where we see Adam Sor Dechapan, I think that's the Germany's from, taking on Nahyan Mohammed. Like I mentioned, this is a rematch. Adam, if you don't know, he is the younger brother of the current highly ranked opponent in the strawweight Muay Thai division, Alif Sor Dechapan. Yeah, and he's going to fight Prajan Chai very soon, or that's going to be his next fight. It kind of gives you the understanding of where they're at. I mean, Adam is a really good fighter, even though he only has one fight in one championship, and that fight came up against the opponent that you see on screen in Nahyan Mohammed. And I remember that fight very vividly. Adam won by split decision, right? So he's only 17 years old. He only has that one fight. He won that fight by split decision, and he fought really well, in my opinion. I was quite impressed with it. I thought that there was so much hype around Nahyan. I mean, if you don't know, that's the Pitch brothers. There's three of them that's fighting in one championship. Two of them are fighting on this fight card. The other brother is not on this card. But there's three brothers. They call it Pitch 1, Pitch 2, Pitch 3. That's what they go by. And yeah, two of the brothers are on this card. So Nahyan, on the other hand, he's 16 years old. His record in one championship is 1 win, 1 loss. No contest. He's got 1 win by KO, and that the one loss has come up in the hands of Adam. And I'm intrigued for the fight because the first fight was so close. I mean, Nahyan put on a good performance, but I think Adam was just a little bit more active. If I remember correctly, Adam had a bit more in the gas in the tank. He started to take over the fight. The first round was very equal. Right? Second round, Adam was going at him. Adam was the one that was pushing the pace. He landed more frequently. He was able to suck out or bring out Nahyan's, fished out Nahyan's weapons. He kind of conflict him a lot of the time to bring Nahyan's weapons out of him and then attack when the targets were available. So Adam fought a really good fight. I also remembered that even though he won the second round, Nahyan did come on strong, and especially when they got into the third round, it was Nahyan had to push all the way. He had to go as hard as he can, obviously, to get the back because he was down the 2 rounds. And I remember Alif was in the corner of Adam, and then Adam came up. And what I found most impressive about that third round was that Adam's defense work was really good because he stayed out of danger because Nahyan was really pushing the pace. High pressure. He was really trying to get a knockout or a knockdown of some sort. And Adam, credit to him, he was able to defend all of that and he was able to stay out of danger for the most part. So I'm keen to see how they're going to fight in the second fight. This is a catchweight Muay Thai. It's 112 pounds. So these guys are literally just under the atom weight mark. So I don't think the fight's going to play out. I don't know, hey. I think Nahyan's going to have to do a lot more than what he did in that first fight. For me personally, he was a bit too patient in that first round and kind of gave it up to Adam in that first and second round. I think he's going to have to push the pace early. He's going to have to show Adam that he's going to be the one that's going to be the general of this fight. He's going to have to be more aggressive and not be so concerned by the reach advantage of Adam. Go in there, eliminate that distance, eliminate the reach advantage, and then get up nice and close, utilize your elbows, use that aggression. I do think Nahyan's a little bit more conditioned than Adam. Adam is super skillful, man. I mean, if you know anything about Alif, and you see how good Alif is, you'll know that Adam is pretty much just a carbon copy, just smaller and younger, but very much the same fight style. And one thing I like about Alif is that his defensive work is phenomenal. So that's what really makes him so good. And Adam has got the same discipline as well. So I'm gonna give the advantage in the second fight to Adam. Right? I think he doesn't have to do much difference to what he did in the first fight. Like I said, the best part about the fight was that he was defensively sound. He was able to mitigate the danger that Nahyan was bringing forward. So in the second fight, I think Adam's going to do what he has to do the same way. You just pop out that jab, use a lot of combinations. Instead of throwing 1 or 2 strikes, throw 3 or 4 at a time, and keep using those feints, because it was setting the timing off for Nahyan. He couldn't really set his feet and let himself go. So I'm going to give the advantage to Adam, even though it's going to be a difficult fight for both guys. But Adam is going to be the one that's going to win, in my opinion. Possibly another decision win. I don't think either of these guys can knock each other out. Anyone can. It might be Nahyan. I think Nahyan's probably got more of the kill shot in him between the two fighters. But like I said, Adam's defense is phenomenal, and I think that's what's going to keep the fight going to all 3 rounds. But it's going to be high pace, high action, and may the best man win. But I'm gonna land my coin on Adam there. If you've got any other different opinion about it, or even agree with me, you know where that comment section is. Drop a comment. Give us your thoughts on that one. Also give us your picks for the entire fight card, because like I said, the list of fighters on this fight is a massive good fights. There are a couple of ones that are like, there's a debut here and a debut there, but apart from that, for the most part, very good matchups on this fight card, and I think this main event is really good. Personally, I would have made it like a co-main event or featured bout from the top, and then put Petchtanong and Yuki Yoza on top, because Petchtanong's a former champion. Yuki Yoza is a former 3 organization champion. And I feel like they could have put the 2 of them on top there. But anyway, I'm sure they have their strategy and how they place their fighters on the fight card. But let's keep it moving to the co-main event. Another monstrous fight between Panrit and Antar Kasim. Really good matchup. I'm looking forward to this one. This is possibly going to be one of the fights of the night. I definitely see one of these guys going to sleep in this one. 1 second. Just because of the styles, right? I mean, Pandit is a hard-hitting fighter, loves his boxing combinations. He's 28 years old. Record in 1 championship is 6 wins, 5 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 2 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO. He beat Suksawut by KO in his last fight. He's also one of the prodigies or training out the Super Bronze gym. And then you got Antar Kasim on the other hand. He's 26 years old. His record in 1 championship is 5 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 2 wins by KO. He's on a 3-fight win streak at the moment, and he beat Krasana by split decision in his last fight. And like I said, just because of the styles of this matchup, in this particular matchup, someone's going to go to sleep here. That's just how they fight. These guys don't really go to decisions. They normally knocking you out or they're getting knocked out. Even though Pandit's got quite a few decisions to his name, he still is the kind of fighter that is like, it's high stakes. You know what I mean? He goes in all in, and that's just the way he fights. Lots of boxing combinations, kicks to the body really well, but he loves to let his hands go. That's his go-getter. You won't see him. Pardon me. You won't see Pandit throwing a high kick to the head, and like that's his go-to, like Super One. That's going to be his go-to knockout move. He will throw a high kick, but that's just maybe to establish range, to let you know I can't throw this out there. But his kicks are usually tips and calf kicks. Now and then body kicks. But Pandit's best weapons is getting in close and then starts letting those boxing combinations go. He goes off the jab, and then from the jab, it's straight into the 2, then the 3 to the body. He starts with the 2, and then he goes to the body again. He loves his boxing combinations. That's what Pandit does. Antar Kasim is very similar. But I do think Antar Kasim is a little bit more dangerous in terms of his shot selection. He doesn't let his opponents know that he's just going to go in and box with you. He's got a tall frame for the 142-pound division. So that means he's obviously bantamweight, trying to maybe get to I think he should be fighting featherweight in my opinion, but bantamweight can suit him really well. And I like the way he fights, man. The only thing I don't like about Antar Kasim is that he doesn't keep his guard up. He doesn't have the best of defenses. I've seen him get tagged in almost every fight that I've seen him get rocked in almost every fight I've watched him so far. And he's always just that a little bit reckless enough to where he gives his opponent a chance to actually get something back on him. That's where I would put him at fault. But if that's not, if he's able to dictate the pace really and put it on his opponents, he's super dangerous. He'll put you out, dude. He's got some good elbows in the clinch. Again, his boxing is phenomenal. And he's got a longer range weapons. He's a taller fighter. He's got the longer boxing range, and he utilizes kicks in a way that really sets up his distance and tracks his opponents in a nice way. So that when he does let those hands go, most of the time it's within the range, right? He's not just hitting the air or hitting the distance between his opponent that he can close it down. He's actually Antakashim can close that distance really well. Sometimes he comes in with elbows to counter some of those boxing combinations. So I do think that this fight's going to set up for a massive car crash. I expect Panrit to be on the back foot in this fight just because of how Antakashim fights. He's probably going to try and push the pace, but he's going to realize that he's going up against someone that's very aggressive and doesn't really give up that kind of space. He's going to have to fight with the back foot. So I expect Panrit to be the one that's going to go backwards, maybe throw some high kicks to whenever Kasim comes in, maybe throw some tips or body kicks every time Kasim comes in. That's what he's probably going to do to counter with. And then when Kasim comes past those weapons, they're going to probably go into exchanges there, boxing and elbow exchanges. And that's where, for me, it's going to come 50-50. That's where it's whoever lands their shot first is going to be the one who's probably going to win the fight. So yeah, let's see how that happens. So you can look for Pandit to be on the back foot there, and you can look for Kasim to be the one that dictates the pace. I want to go with Kasim. I really do. I really want to go with Antakashim. I think he's the sharpest striker in my opinion. However, I don't know if his defense is going to hold up. However, that being said, will Panrit be able to land something significant on him? Can he close that distance? And when he closes the distance, will he be defensively okay? Not only take whatever Antakashim throws at him, but we're also able to set up his counter strike or his kill shot. Very intriguing matchup for that co-main event. I'm gonna go with Antakashim. I say that very lightly because Pandit's phenomenal and Antakashim is very chinny. You know what I mean? He gets cracked a lot in his fights. That's the only thing that makes me go, ugh. But when he gets going, he's devastating to watch. So I'm gonna go with Kasim. But okay, let me know in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen, if you got a different opinion. Again, I'm saying that with a pinch of salt. If you're gonna make any bets in this one, I would say better than Panrit. But personally, I'm just going with Antakashim because of the sharpness. And Panrit hasn't really. He's got one win in his last 4 fights, I think. Antakashim is the same. He also has one win in his last 4 fights. That kind of tells you where they're at in their careers right now. So this is kind of a, like I said in the beginning, once they get into that void, whoever lands that shot first is going to be the one that's going to get the advantage there. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. That's going to be a massive one. Someone's going to sleep there for sure. The featured bout is a fight between Tom Yam Kun taking on Wacharapun, but not the Wacharapun that's fighting in the. I wonder if they're the same division, and also they're very close in age, but they don't have the same spelling. But both of them are really good fighters. This Wacharapun is really good. So Tom Yam Kun, 21 years old, record in one championship is 1 win, 2 losses, 0 no contest. He beat Den Kiang Krai by unanimous decision. Remember that one. And Wacharapun, on the other hand, he's 22 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contest. 1 win by KO. He beat Pet Payatai by unanimous decision in his last fight, and he was on a 3-fight losing streak before that. But this Wacharapun has been in there with some crazy fights. He's been in there with a lot of crazy fighters as well. But I think this fight's going to play out. I think it's going to be a rock'em sock'em war as well, to be honest with you. Tom Yam Kun is really good. I thought he was going to lose against Den Kiang Krai, but he proved me wrong in that one. He was able to really manage the distance and the speed of that fight in a way that really impressed me. But Wacharapun is a go-getter. Like I said, he puts his head down, bites on the mouthpiece, and he lets those fists fly. The 3-fight losing streak doesn't really tell the story about him because he lost against some good fighters. Aslam John Otikov is one of those guys he lost to, by the way. It kind of gives you an idea of where the One Championship thinks, what they think about him, and who they placed him up against. Kind of tells you what they think about his talent, right? I think this is going to be a fight that most likely is going to go to decision, but it's going to be a back and forth for sure. I'm going to go Wacharapun to win. Tom Yam Kun is good. He's really good. He's got some good defense. He just manages his fights really well. He doesn't really go in there and put you away, put you out, but he does manage fights really well. He can go to distance and he can be safe. But Wacharapun is the guy that always fights on the front foot. He's always dictating the pace in all of his fights, other than the ones that he did lose, obviously. But even in those fights against Aslamjan Otakov, for example, that was a decision loss, and he went all the way with him. Aslamjan usually puts people away. He usually footworks opponents into hypnotism, and then whenever you hypnotize by him, he strikes and then you're down. And Masharapun was able to actually stand that and fight through that, and I thought that was quite impressive. So this is going to be a good fight. 130 pounds Muay Thai. So that's flyweight. They're just under the flyweight mark. Excuse me. I think it's going to be a back and forth decision. But again, it's going to be high pace all the way. And I think Wacharapun's going to get the job done, in my opinion, there. By landing more, initiating the clinch work. Just keep the fight fighting in different avenues. But Tom Yankung, don't be fooled. You know what I mean? He's not a bad fighter at all, even though he's got the 3 fights in the one championship. The fighters that he lost to was against Rititit and Urian Lek, who are both power punches. Right? They both knocked him out. So again, just both of these athletes, Wacharapun and Tom Yankung, both of them have got some significant losses, but those are against fighters who are kind of cream of the crop, in one championship, you put it that way. But in this particular matchup here, I'm going to go with Wacharapun. He fought more fighters, fought against a lot more high-level competition. So he's taken beatings and he's also dished out a lot of beatings. So I think he's going to have the advantage for me in this fight here. He's probably going to win it on decision. If he wins by stoppage, there you go. He wins by stoppage. But I think the most likely outcome for that one's going to be a 3-round decision going to Wacharapun. Again, if you've got a different opinion, what that comment section is. Let's keep it moving, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just sip my water. Okay. Bantamweight Muay Thai. Here we go. Nice, good matchup. We got Coco taking on TI in the Bantamweight Muay Thai division, which is a division that is starting to really get heated up now, especially since the introduction of Naraka Yoshinari as an official one championship athlete. I think the Bantamweight is starting to become the one that's the talk of the town, if you will. The Coco, 28 years old, record in one championship is 1 win, 3 losses, 0 no contests, 1 win by KO. He beat Jarun Porn by KO in his last fight. He was on a 3-fight losing streak before that. Not too good, if you think about it. TI, on the other hand, is a bit of more of a mainstay. If you think about his name, he's been around a little bit longer. TI is 27 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest, 2 wins by KO, lost to Song Tanoi, who's probably going to be fighting for the title soon by unanimous decision. He was on a 2-fight winning streak before that. I think this is also going to be a barn burner for sure. Someone's going to go to sleep in this one. High pace. The Atomweight guys fight gas bunnies for days. So I think it's going to be a bit of a war here between two guys. But I think TI is going to have the advantage. For me, he's got a bit of the range. He's the shorter fighter, but he fights with a longer range. If you look at how he uses his jab, and he does his good boxing with a 1-1 into an elbow or 1-1 into a straight. He's very good at that, and he's also got a very good defense on him as well. Coco, on the other hand, I don't know. My guy is always getting beaten. I mean, he lost to Rak, he lost to Kunsuklek twice by unanimous decision. But Rak is also very, very good. So that's a 3-fight losing streak, right? I don't know if this one's gonna go to decision. I got TI winning the fight in multiple ways, if possible. I think he can finish the fight for sure. Got good elbows once they get into the clinch. Manages distance really well. Doesn't kick a lot. Right? Boxing's really where he's at. So he's gonna have to close that distance and keep it within his range. Coco's gonna have to obviously be defensively sound, just move around, don't become a stationary target. Put that jab out, use the height advantage, put that jab out there, make TI pay for every entry. Put it that way, Don't give TI the opportunity to just bully you into a corner and then let his hands go. That's like one of the avenues I think TI can win the fight is backing up Coco into a corner and then letting those hands go there, maybe getting into a clinch with him. I don't know if Coco can knock TI out, maybe. We don't know. But I'm going to go TI for the win here. If not, by a finish second round, I'm going to go TI wins over a 3-round decision. But it's a good fight. It's a good fight for the division as well because TI is a bit of a mainstay, and I think that's going to be a good shake up that atomweight division, of course, where we are probably in the progress to witness one championship. Look for an atomweight champion. But give me your thoughts on that one, please. Coco versus Ti. Who do you think is going to get the job done there? I'm going to go Ti. Let's go to the next fight. I don't have program notes for this one because these are kind of new additions to one championship. Both guys only really have 1 or 2 fights in the organization. Pan Padej only has 1 fight in one championship against Thomas Van Nijnaten. And he lost that fight he won that fight by KO in the first round. And then his opponent in Sirichok, fighting out of Sor Sumai. He's 22 years old. He's on a 2-fight winning streak in the one championship. And those fights come via a split decision and a KO. But they are unfamiliar faces to me, so this will kind of be the first time I'm going to see them fighting this Friday. So I'm going to bypass that one. Then we have a fight between Yodkiti, who's also been around one championship for a while, taking on Tomo Daeng. One championship. This is his debut. This is 122-pound Muay Thai. He's 18 years old. Don't know anything about him really. Haven't seen him fight before. Yodkiti, 20 years old. Has 3 fights in the one championship. He was on a 2-fight winning streak. Both fights coming in via round 1 knockout. Then he took on Toy Lentet. They fought earlier this year, and Toy Lentet knocked him out also in the first round. But Yodkiti is a good fighter. He's a power puncher, high pace, doesn't really wait. Gets in there, gets into your face very quickly, and lets those fists fly. And I like his style. I like his aggression. So let's see how that goes. Again, I don't really give picks whenever there's a debut fighter, unless that debut fighter has got, a resume like Yuki Yoza, for example, where you can go and watch tape on the fighter and you can go and see what the resume is like outside of one championship. So I'm not going to give a pick for that one, but you can let me know in the comments who you have for that one, of course. This is if I'm not mistaken, this is the featured bout of the night. It's the main fight on the prelims, and this is 138 pounds. This is Muay Thai, catchweight Muay Thai. Super Bowl makes his return, taking on Ibrahim Abdul Medzidov. And I think this one is also going to have someone going to sleep for sure. Super Bowl, 28 years old. The record he won championship is 3 wins, 2 losses in no contest. He lost to Panrit by a KO in his last fight. He's also on a 2-fight losing streak. He was on a 3-fight win streak before that. And Super Bowl's really good. I mean, he looks like he comes from like the army, in my opinion. But really good fighter, phenomenal style. Just unfortunate losses if you think about it, right? Ibrahim Abdul Medzidov, he's 30 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 1 loss in no contest. He lost to Muay Thai by TKO in his last fight. He was also on a 2-fight win streak before that. That fight against Muay Thai was highly insane because a lot of people probably thinking that Muay Thai was going to lose that one, but Muay Thai, he's on a run at the moment. My guy's on a streak, and that fight against Ibrahim was really amazing to watch. Super Bowl, he, like I said, 2-fight losing streak against Panrit and Ilyas Musayev. But before that, he beat Julio Lobo and Kong Kai twice. Right? Really, really good performances against both of them. Ibrahim, on the other hand, he lost to Muay Thai, but before that, he won against Huang Song Kung by knockout and Yamin by knockout as well. So that kind of tells you what this fight's going to be like. Ibrahim is very much kickboxing heavy, so he's light on his feet and he bounces around and he does a spinning back elbow, spinning back fist. These Russian fighters fighting, they got that style that's kickboxing meets Muay Thai style, that's what they're going to do. High kicks, spin kicks, all those kind of mad stuff that they're going to throw at you, but very much training if you think about it. Sometimes I almost feel like they throw those kind of attacks just so that they can hope something lands, but because you notice that when they don't get those attacks landing so much, they get tired very quickly, and then you notice, okay, you could put it on them now, Super Bowl's going to have to be very careful. He has been stopped before. The guard does come down in moments when you don't think it should be coming down. Super Bowl's going to have to keep his guard up at all times in this fight because I don't think that he can allow himself to make any sort of slight mistakes. Like, for example, when he throws a high kick, he'll drop his left hand. You know what I mean? Or get into the void and he'll throw a 1-2, but then he won't come back to defense. He will kind of stay in that pocket and then let his opponent get back into the fight there. Give them kind of an opportunity to land something massive on him. So I think that Super Bowl is going to have to keep that guard up at all times because Ibrahim is dangerous in every avenue. If he goes into the corner, even when he's going backwards, especially when he's going backwards, that's when he's going to throw something weird at you. Because you might think, okay, you got him going backwards now, and you're going to fake him. And then you'll count your fake, and you'll notice maybe on your third or fourth attempt, he's going to expect something coming in. And when you come in with a jab or you come in with an overhand or something, Ibrahim can spin. That's when he's probably going to throw something spinning back elbow at you or back fist. Or he might just fake a spin and then get out of that position and then you back in that corner. And he's a very dangerous fighter when it comes to that. Muay Thai showed a way to beat him, and that was to stay in his face and make it a grueling exercise. Get into the clinching positions. Keep throwing elbows on him. Attack the body when you're in that clinch. When you're out of the clinch, get your guard up, chop a leg again. You don't give Ibrahim an opportunity to circle out or to keep dancing around you. If you take out his legs every time, he can't spin. You have to get into the clinching positions with him. You can't do all those weird exchanges and things like that, right? He's going to have to fight you in the clinch where he doesn't really want to be. Ibrahim doesn't like those clinching. That's one thing you will notice about the fighters that don't come from Thailand or anywhere from Southeast Asia. You'll notice that those fighters don't want to be in the clinch. That's what they don't like it. They want to stay outside in the open, do fancy stuff, and just let the hands and feet go and get some flash knockouts there, here and there, get a bonus. But they don't want to fight in the clinch. They hate it. So Super Bowl is gonna have to do that, but that's not Super Bowl style. Super Bowl doesn't like to fight in the clinch either. He's more of a rangier, tall guy. He stays on the outside and he lets the feet and the hands go. Use tips, use low kicks, and then let his boxing combinations work. That's what Super Bowl fights like. He doesn't really close you down and get you in the clinch and let the knees and elbows work. So I think it's going to favor Ibrahim a little bit more. I want to say Super Bowl wins this fight. I really do. I really do. But the fight style, stylistically between who they are, it sets the fight up for Ibrahim to win. It's going to fit his favor a little bit more because of Super Bowl's taller, right? He's going to want to fight on the outside the whole time. Let's just check that height. He's 5'8", 5'8", right? And Ibrahim is also 5'8". So that kind of tells you where they're at. They both like to be rangy. They don't really want to get in very tight. So that's going to be the fight here. That's going to be the battle of the outside foot. And whoever can negate that outside foot is going to be the one that can set up the angles for their punches. But I'm going to go Ibrahim for the win here. He's probably going to get the stoppage in the first or second round. If he doesn't, it's going to go to the third round decision. And he's probably going to win the fight because he's going to win the first 2 rounds and probably get beaten up in the third round. And then he wins the fight on decision. But yeah, that's going to be a battle of who wins the range, and the front foot battle is going to win that fight over there, in my opinion. But okay, if you got a different opinion about that one, you know where that comment section is. You know how to drop that comment. Let the boys know who you got in that one. Then we're going to go to the co-main event of that prelims. Again, like I mentioned earlier, Nahyan Mohammed. This is the other Petch brother, the other Mohammed brother. I think he's older. Isaac Mohammed, I think he's 19 years old. He's the older brother. 19 years old, record in 1 championship. He's 1 win, 0 losses in no contest. He beat Antonio Piana by TKO. That was his only win. This is 117 pounds Muay Thai. So again, these guys are strawweight, atomweight. Very light boys. Haruyuki Tanitsu is his opponent. He's 22 years old. His record in 1 championship is 4 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contest, 2 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO, and he beat Tet Paing Ang by KO in his last fight. So yeah, this is gonna be another one of those high level, high pace kind of fights. Because if you know anything about the Mohammed brothers, I only recently found out about them towards the end of last year, coming into this year, when they were making their debuts, right? I was like, oh, who are these kids? Because there seems to be a lot of hype around them. The Thai fans love them. And this was their debuts, and I was like, what's going on here? Who are these kids? They just like, they got a lot of star power for some reason. And yeah, they obviously, I can understand why. They put on great fights. They go forward. They put on hard combat. They come from a very good gym. So I can understand the hype behind them, right? I just don't know if Isaac's gonna win this fight. If I'm being honest, I think Haruyuki is probably gonna get him out of there. He's older, on a 4-fight win streak at the moment. A bunch of finishes, 3 wins, 3 finishes of that four fights. He is obviously the one that's gonna look to get the knockout over here. And yeah, I want to go with Isaac. To be honest, because I want to see the rise of these kids. I want to see what is it really there. That one win. Let's see if he can continue that consistency. He's taking on an opponent who is known for finishes, so I don't know if it's going to be an easy fight for him. So I stand on the fence with this one. I'm voting for Isaac Mohammed to win, but I don't know, eh? I don't know. Haruyuki Tanitsu, he's a killer. He's an absolute killer. So I think it's gonna be a difficult fight for Isaac Mohammed here. But if you got a different opinion there, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna go with Isaac Mohammed because that's just a little bit the biasness in me. And I haven't seen a lot of fights of Haruyuki, right? So I don't know what is his go get, like what is his go-to combination? How does he set up his knockouts? Is he just a slugger? Does he just press forward and let his hands go, or is he a little bit more, poised and like a bit of a venomous kind of fighter where he's, selective and he doesn't just rush into his finishes. Look, it's 117 pounds, so it's going to be fast. So you can't blink for this one. You know what I mean? You can't blink for this one. So let's see how it goes. If you got a different opinion, you can know the comment section is. Let me know who you think is going to win and how. But I'm going to go with Isaac Mohammed. I think he's going to game plan this fight really well and maybe mitigate the danger and just stay on top of the game. Because I like his debut fight, and he was super aggressive in that debut fight. He looked phenomenal. So I'm pretty sure he's going to try and ride that high. And I mean, his brother's on the fight card, you know what I mean? So he's obviously going to, since Isaac Mohammed's going to be the first fight of the Mohammed brothers, I'm sure he's going to want to go in there and get a dominant win and then set it up for his younger brother who's in the main event against Adam. But okay, let's keep it moving. This is obviously the fight that we all came for. This is the meat and potatoes of this event, in my opinion. And it's so low on the card; it should be a much higher, right? Purely because of the nature of these fighters in terms of the accolades and who they are and where they come from and what they've done. They should actually be on the higher. They should be on the main event, in my opinion. But anyway, let's go through some of the stats. Petchtanong Pet Fergus, if you don't know, he's 39 years old. He is the former bantamweight kickboxing champion. Record in one championship is 3 wins, 1 loss in no contest, 1 win by TKO, 3-fight win streak. He beat Alaverde Ramazanov by TKO in his last fight, which was a great fight for Petchtanong because Ramazanov is really, really dangerous, tough fight to take on, and Petchtanong schooled him very easily, right? Yuki Yoza, 27 years old, record in one championship is 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 0 losses in no contest. He beat Obrus Osmanov by unanimous decision in his debut, and Obrus Osmanov is a very good fighter. He was on a 8-fight or 9-fight win streak before that, and Yuki Yoza gave him his first loss. So yeah, this is going to be a fascinating matchup, purely because of what's at stake here. So Petchtanong, I think, is ranked number 3 in that boxing bantamweight division, right? He is, like I said, former champion. Trained with Yuki Yoza. They've got a lot of history together. They know each other really, really well. Yuki Yoza, obviously, if you don't know, former K1 champion, bantamweight K1 champion, super bantamweight champion. He's done it all. Right? He's been there with the best guys. And he put a good fight against Obrus. Obviously, I thought he was going to win the fight, but I stopped it. But Obrus is a go-getter. Obrus is in my opinion, Obrus Osmanov is 1 or 2 fights away from being ranked in that top 5, maybe top 10 of that division of the bantamweight. He's close by. He's very close. So what's at stake in this fight is obviously the title shot. Right? Petchtanong could have easily gotten the title shot. Being the former champion, he was supposed to fight against what was his name? Anahachi. He was supposed to fight Anahachi last year. And that fight got pulled. Right? He beat Hiroki Akimoto, who was the former champion. Really good fighters, right? And he schooled Akimoto, who is a Japanese cushion practitioner, right? That's also what Yuki Yoza brings to the table. There's a lot of talk around this fight where Petchtanong is going to beat Yuki Yoza because he knows how to beat Japanese fighters. He knows how to take them out. He knows the style, right? And also, I've trained with Yuki Yoza as well. I think this fight's going to be a massive chess match. Even though Yuki Yoza has been claiming in the media that he's going to win the fight by knockout, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think this fight's going to be very difficult for both guys because they know each other so well, right? So I think it's going to go to decision. That's my pick right there. It's going to go to decision. I don't think it's going to be a knockout. I think Yuki Yoza is going to win. Petchtanong is 39 years old and he fights once every year. Sometimes he skips a year. Right? Yuki Yoza is more active than that. My guy's been fighting, and this is going to be his second fight in this year already, right? Against two high-level opponents. And Yuki Yoza did say coming into the organization that he's going to try and he was going to take Jonathan Haggerty's belt by the end of 2025, which is mad. I don't think that's going to be the reality because of certain matchups that's going to happen, right? I think the fight we're going to see in Japan at the 173 card is probably going to be Nabila Nane taking on Jonathan Haggerty. Yuki Yoza is also supposed to be on that fight card, right? So if the Jonathan Haggerty and the Nabila Nane fight was maybe next week, for example, or the week after that, then and only then I'd go, okay, whoever wins this fight between Petchtanong and Yuki Yoza will fight against the winner between Nabila Nane and Jonathan Haggerty at 173 November 16th. I just think the gap is too far, and that if Jonathan Haggerty fights against Nabila Nane in September, they won't make it for November. If he fights, they're gonna have to fight like very, very, very soon for that fight to actually make sense. So I don't think that we're going to see Yuki Yoza get the title in 2025. I just don't think that the matchups align in terms of the time frame. So in this fight, I'm gonna go Yuki Yoza for the win. He's gonna win on decision. He's gonna look to attack the leg a lot, even though Petchtanong knows how to navigate against Kyokushin guys. But Yuki Yoza is a bit different. He throws attacks from different positions. He sets them up in a really good way, and he just flows. He flows combinations like you're watching a video game character. Petchtanong is also very, very pleasing to the eye in the way that he fights. It's very pleasing to the eye. I just don't know at 39 years old and the lack of frequency is going to help him. I think it's going to be at his detriment. Yeah, I think Yuki Yoza is going to have the momentum, the younger, the more vibrant fighter. He can take a shot, he can give a shot. I think he's going to be more active and land a lot more than Petchtanong and win the fight on decision. Even though I think Petchtanong is super dangerous. But yeah, the age is going to catch up to him. Yeah, he's going to realize that the movement and the pace that Yuki Yoza is going to put on him, it's going to force him to try and keep up, and he's probably going to get very tired. Granted that Petchtanong is a very good counter striker. I just think Yuki Yoza is gonna put the pace on him and try and get him out of there. And not gonna get him out of there, but because he's gonna try and get Petchtanong out of there, it's gonna tire Petchtanong out, and then going to the third round, he's gonna win the fight on decision that way. But give me your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm mega hyped for this one. Mega hyped for this one. And I can tell you now that this fight and the fights that I'm gonna go through next is set up in a way for these Japanese fighters to kind of get prepared for 173. So on that note, we are going to move to the next one. And look here who's on the card. Tatsumitsu Wada, who's taking on Avazbek Mirzaev in a strawweight MMA clash. And I think this is a very good fight for both athletes, right? Because for Tatsumitsu Wada, who I thought was retired, by the way, he's back. He fought against Sanzo Zakharov last year, if I'm not mistaken. He lost that fight. So Tatsumitsu Wada, 36 years old, the record in one championship is 6 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest, 2 wins by sub. He lost to Sanzo Zakharov by unanimous decision in his last fight. And Avazbek Mirzaev is 24 years old, the record in one championship is 6 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest, 2 wins by TKO, 4 wins by sub, 3 fight win streak. He beat Robson de Oliveira by TKO in his last fight. So look there. Right? And that's why I think this fight's really amazing because I think they're putting Tatsumitsu Wada on this card because they want to get the Japanese fans to obviously buy in more into the one championship. Probably set up giving more Japanese fighters a bit of a, I won't say layup, but giving them some more fights to tune them up with that 173 fight card. But it's a massive but. I think Tatsumitsu Wada is going to struggle in this fight here. I think he's going to lose, just like he lost against Sanzo Zakharov. Pretty much the same thing. And unlike Sanzo Zakharov, I think Avazbek is a better striker than Sanzo Zakharov. Wrestling-wise, I think they're equal. But I think Avazbek is a little bit more of a better wrestler. He's got more dynamicness to him. He's more aggressive. And this is a division that he kind of fits really well. He fits in really well. He's tall. but he's able to really hone in on his weight cuts, where Santos Zakharov kind of struggled, and I think that's why he left the division and went up into flyweight, because strawweight was a little bit too big in terms of the weight cut for him. And I think it was a good idea for him to make that decision. Tatsumitsu Wada is of the old guard, so in my opinion, he's gonna have to be very, very high alert on this fight, because Abasbek pushes the pace every moment of every round and is dangerous in any position, whether it's grappling or striking. He's just super dangerous all around. I think he's gonna win the fight. I don't know if he's gonna get Tatsumitsu Wada out of there because of the pedigree of Tatsumitsu, right? In terms of who he's fought. He fought Mighty Mouse Johnson. He fought for the title. He's been up against some of the best dudes in one championship, and people aren't able to put him away. So, yeah, I think Tatsumitsu Wada is defensively very good, but he's only got really good wrestling, if we're being honest. His striking is not the greatest. He can let his hands go, but you know what Tatsumitsu Wada wants to do. He wants to take you down, tap you out. That's where he wants to play. And he's going to come up short when it comes to wrestling. He's going to realize that Abasbek is a top wrestler as well. Very good in jiu-jitsu at the same point. And then you want to stand with him, and you're going to realize that you're shorter, and you're not going to be able to reach Abasbek. He's going to be too fast, he's going to be too slick. So, yeah, too many avenues for Abasbek to win, in my opinion, here. I'm going to go Abasbek for the win. And he's going to win on decision. He's going to realize that he can't actually put the legend away. So what we're going to see is Abasbek almost punch his ticket to a pay-per-view event, maybe even get a contract, because he's fighting the fighter that technically is contracted, right? So yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments about that one, please, ladies and gentlemen. We will continue the Japanese train. I'm moving down the card. We see a fight between Ayaka Miura taking on Juliana Otalora from Colombia. This is atomweight MMA. Ayaka Miura is currently ranked number 3 in that division. And in my opinion, is deserved of the title shot. So I mean, this is what we call a layup. This is a layup fight. They obviously want to get Ayaka Miura back into a fighting streak. She's obviously on a massive streak right now. She's 25 years old. No, excuse me. I didn't do a lot of notes for this one because of the debutant. Because again, I don't give predictions on the debutant, but Ayaka Miura, in my opinion, is probably going to win this fight. I think this is going to be a layup fight. Tune her up for that 173 card in Japan. And we're probably going to see another Miura Anaconda armbar, whatever she calls it. That's what we're going to see in this fight. And then we're going to see her all out Denise Zambawanga for that Muay title. That's what we're going to see her. If she loses, well, then I would say you got to punch Juliana's name into that top 5 then. There you go. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't see that as the reality, yeah. But anyway, you can give me your thoughts. I'm not going to give a massive preview on that one because of that unknown factor of Juliana Otalora. And then lastly, the opening fight of the fight card is a return of Hiroba Minowa taking on Lee Seung-chul in the strawweight MMA division. Hiroba Minowa is 25 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 3 losses, 0 no contests. He beat Jeremy Miyado by split decision in his last fight. He was also on a 3-fight losing streak before that, losing to some of the best guys in the strawweight division, right? Jared Brooks, Okang Mosanyane, for example. He lost to Gustavo Balot. That's shocking. That is super shocking. Gustavo Balot, bro. But anyway, he's a mainstay and he's a top talent as well. So I'm happy to see him back. So I always rated him very good, very high in that division, in my opinion. So I want to see what he's got going. He's very wrestling heavy. So hopefully the time off has given him an opportunity to work on his strikes a little bit more, because he shoots all the time, and to the point where it becomes one-dimensional, right? You can kind of see what he's going to do next. He doesn't want to stand with you. He throws it over and right, and then he shoots immediately. And it works, right? That's how he beat Jeremy Miyado as well. Was, I'm not going to stand with you, but I'm going to strike a little bit, and then when I see you get comfortable, double leg. That's what Hiroba does, and obviously that's where his bread and butter is. Those losses against Jared Brooks and Bokang, for example, and Balot is because they can also wrestle very well. And that's where they beat him. They beat him at his own game. Lee Seung-chul is 26 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contest. 2 wins by TKO. He beat Pam Van Nam by TKO in his last fight. So all fights ended in stoppages. You know what that is. We got the striker versus grappler here. Classic matchup. As long as Hiroba can stay out of the boxing exchanges for a long period of time, it gives him a chance to, grapple and stay on the ground and does what he does best. Lee might get excited and he might tag Hiroba with a jab or a hard right, and you'll see, Hiroba might look a little bit rocked, and you might want to chase him down and let his hands go. But that's when Hiroba is actually very good at getting these takedowns. So I got Hiroba Minowa winning this fight on decision, just by having an overwhelming takedown aggression and just staying on top and making it very difficult for Lee. Maybe even getting into the third or second round and getting a finish there. So either Lee wins by knockout first round, or Hiroba wins by decision, or he wins by second or third round submission, in my opinion. That's how I see this fight going down. But okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. If you like the video, drop a like, drop a share, and also drop a comment. Give me your picks for this fight card. It is One Championships Friday Fights 116. It will be live at 2:30 South African time, and I will be doing a live watch along. So stay tuned for that. Expect to see everyone there, to get involved in the comments, get involved in the banter while we watch some good fights. Then we can talk about our picks. Maybe get into an argument if you want to. I'm down for it. Let's go. So I hope to see you guys there. So stay tuned for that. We'll also be doing a preview for UFC 318. Max Holloway taking on Dustin Poirier for Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. We'll also be doing a live for that one this Sunday, so keep a lookout for that one, please, ladies and gentlemen. I hope to see you all there. On that note, have a fantastic day. Have a good night wherever you are. Enjoy the week, and expect to see you when the fight cards take place this weekend. On that note, take care and have a very good one. Cheers.